Today is day 63 and a reading from Numbers 21 and 22. Now, there's some very interesting dynamics that occur in these two chapters. I'm going to quickly just highlight some of these. First of all, God is granting Israel favor. So where they're beginning to travel and cross through territories and nations, fear overtakes these nations, and they hear the report of God's people, how they have traveled from Egypt, and they are a great multitude. So the people, though, in process become discouraged, and once again, Israel reverts to complaining and griping and bellyaching. Unless we're too hard on them, we need to be reminded that we are prone to do the same thing. But the Lord, in this case, the Bible says, sent fiery servants. And the people were bitten, and many of them, the Bible says, began to die. Moses once again intervenes and begins to pray. God now instructs Moses to do something interesting. He instructs him to make a pole and to build or make a serpent, a fiery brass serpent, and place that on the pole. Anyone who has been bitten, if he by faith will merely look, he will live. Look and live was the theme. Well, this is a picture of the cross. You see, we've been bitten by the deadly serpent sin, and that sin is going to kill us. It will destroy us. Jesus became sin for us on the cross. And if we look and we believe and embrace the full provision of Christ, we will look and we will live. Here comes an interesting and confusing character. His name is Balaam. Is he a prophet? Or is he not? I'm going to leave that for you to decide. King Balak seeks his services. They went with a diviner's fee, which is usually a fortune teller. It's not something that is characteristically identified with a prophet or a man of God. And they say, please come and curse this people being the Israelites. So they are saying, listen, they are too mighty for me. This is what the king was saying, is he was fearful of them, and he was asking if this so-called prophet would come. For he says, I know that those whom you bless are blessed, and those whom you cursed are cursed. So Balaam says, let me go and talk to God about this. And so God talks to Balaam. He did talk to Balaam, and God says to him, don't go with them, and don't you dare curse them, for they are blessed indeed. So Balaam tells them, nope, I can't curse them. Then King Balak sends more messengers. This time, they're more impressive and they are more honorable. Now, I want you to take note of this because there is something found in this that is a deeper aspect, revealing maybe the heart of Balaam. So once again, he's asked to curse the Israelites. Balaam says, well, let me go and talk to God again. This time, God says, okay, go with them, but don't say anything other than I tell you to say. Now, we could ask ourselves the question, why would God change his mind? Why did he say before, don't go with them and don't say him? This time, Balaam goes and he says, you can go with them. Well, I think that God is testing this. And he's going to bring to the surface something is hidden in the ulterior motives of this man. So Balaam says, hey, if to preface it, he says, hey, if you were to give me a house full of silver and gold, I cannot change nor say anything other than God tells me. Now, it's an interesting thing because it's somewhat of it's kind of a diversion. He's suggesting that money's not an issue, that resources that might be given are not a point here. But in some ways, I wonder if he's hoping that maybe God will change his mind because there would be some monetary blessings that would come out of this. So Balaam prepares to go. He's riding on a donkey. The donkey sees an angel, and 3 times the donkey runs off and finally up against the wall, crushes his foot, and the final time he sits down. And Balaam is beating his donkey, and Balaam is mad, and the donkey starts talking because God opens his mouth. Balaam argues with the donkey, and he talks back, and they're in a conversation, and he says, I ought to kill you. And then God opened, which is an ironic thing. Think of how delirious that Balaam himself must be in anger that he would not see how ridiculous this must have thought or looked. And then God opens Balaam's eyes. The angel declares Balaam's ways as perverse, and he says, your donkey saved your life. And the angel directs Balaam to go. Balaam reaffirms his loyalty to God, and we don't know what may have transpired in the heart of Balaam, but we will find out in tomorrow's reading what really lies at the heart of Balaam.